today I decided to use a very simple example of advertising in the field of mineral water. And I thought it would be interesting to see whether there are any national peculiarities that we can follow in such a typical product that everyone actually uses every day. It was interesting to see whether different countries perceive it differently. I decided to use the examples from Ukraine, Poland, Germany, and the United Kingdom, and to see whether they advertise it somehow differently, whether they use different codes, whether they use different verbal elements, and how does it actually work. So I'm going to try and share my screen if it lets me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Is it working or not yet? Not sharing, yeah?
Not yet, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes. Now it's
Yes, we can.
Okay. Excellent. So I would like to start, if that's okay. So as I said, I used the advertisements as an example to follow the multimodality and the peculiarities. So a modern advertisement combines the propaganda and modern advances that have been achieved in the marketing field in order to create ideal product, as we all know. This is possible to claim that promotions of products and services, they have become less informative, but more pragmatized as well as more manipulative. The peculiarities of advertisements are defined by their communicative and pragmatic goals that we can notice through the special selection of verbal and non-verbal elements. If we talk about the pragmatic character, the main goal is to make a strong influence on a target audience, which could be achieved via multiple channels, such as rational thought, convincing, different instincts, as well as some conscious emotions. The application of verbal and non-verbal elements in an advertisement allows scholars to classify it as a multimodal text. Non-verbal means acquire special importance, forming together with a verbal part of the contextual and pragmatic meaning in the advertisement. Robert Barth, he defines three types of correlation between a text and an image, sometimes called a picture or a non-verbal element. So he talks about a text and a picture when they duplicate each other, when a text performs the major role and the semantics of the picture depends upon it. We can say that the visual component is an additional to a verbal element. And the third type is a verbal component depends on the actual image. Natalia Valgina contends that the majority of multimodal texts, they follow a pattern when verbal and visual components are in synthematic relationship. So this theory is similar to the third type of correlation that is suggested by Robert Barth when an image defines the semantics of a verbal text. The non-verbal elements are present in almost every printed advertisement. Scholars who work in this field, they point out the following non-verbal means, such as images, pictures, schemes, logos, sketches, national symbols, font types and sizes, color choices, position and location, as well as design of the verbal text in an advertisement. The visual images, they typically play a major role in the creation of the modern language consciousness, because a visual perception is universal and it is able to integrate and reintegrate any other systems of signals. An American scientist, Paul Messaris, while studying the peculiarities of visual persuasion in advertising and analyzing the role that visual elements play, asserts that images can provoke a certain feeling or certain feelings by stimulating an appearance of a particular object or a person. They can be a visual proof that something really happened, as well as install that implicit connection between an object, a service or area or a thing is being offered, as well as other images as well. It is necessary to point out that means of multimodality, they define how an advertisement is going to be perceived. This gives extra importance to the information that is provided. It defines the understanding of the message, as well as the level of trust and influence that it has. Dalia Lysianska states that the main goal of an advertisement is to influence the consciousness of a consumer and to stimulate him or her to perform a certain action, which is obviously to buy a particular item or use a particular service. The main task of advertising discourse is to convince the addressee in the honesty and authenticity of the message. According to Irina Morozova, the core role of attracting the attention of the audience is given to the slogans, which can modify the verbal as well as physical behavior. As printed advertisements are multifaceted phenomena, they are targeted at a wide range of consumers. There are lots of different types of classifications that are used. I use the classification that was offered by Denis Bezlatny, as I believe that it defines it the best. So he suggests that 8 major categories of advertisements. So the first one is according to the target audience, is highly segmented, medium segmented, as well as lightly segmented is the third type. The second type, according to the targeted influence. So we talk about commercial, which is for goods and services, and non-commercial. Here we talk about political and social advertisement. According to the scale of distribution, we talk about global, we talk about national, regional, and local advertisements. According to the method of transmission, can be printed, electronic, and outdoor advertising. According to the way of execution, it is textual, visual, and visually textual. According to the method of influence, it can be direct and non-direct. According to the method of addressing, it can be personified and non-personified. And according to the method of payment, it can be free and paid. So again, the aim of my presentation today is to speak about the national peculiarities of multimodal communication. And as a rule, they are clearly manifested in social advertisement. So in this context, we talk about such culturally marked items as the usage of national flags, colors, country-specific symbols. If we talk about Ukraine, we would talk about Kalina, for example, maybe Taras Shevchenko as well. So I would like to analyze the printed multimodal advertisements of mineral water in Ukrainian, Polish, British, and German mass media discourse. So obviously we talk about the printed advertisements with the focus on their types, their structure, and the usage of non-verbal elements and their correlation with the verbal ones. So advertisements in Ukraine. You can see 2 examples. The first one is the mineral water and the still water that is for children. So we can see the usage of green and blue colors that depict the mountains, that in turn creates the feeling of freshness and natural origin. But we can also see lots of different colors and combinations here as well. So there are different animals drawn in orange, pink, blue, and purple. We can also see the verbal message or a slogan that is written in green, also in red and in blue colors. The message says natural drinking water from kids from the first days of their life. The iconic symbol underneath, which is 0+, duplicates the same information and the same message. The text is written with the help of different fonts and is a little bit chaotic, which creates the feeling of fun and friendly effect. If we look again at the selection of a color scheme, we can say that the red color, having the longest wave, has a very strong effect on human perception. It quickly attracts the attention and stimulates to act as well. As to the blue color, psychologists consider it to be the most favorite color in the world. They also believe that it enhances to the mental processing and arises the feeling of purity. The choice of the pink can be explained by the fact that it nourishes and at the same time calms people. Besides, if we take into consideration some gender peculiarities, we will find out that this color is considered to be strongly female color, which is important for advertisement for children, as these are the mothers who mainly choose and buy products for their kids in our society. Orange has a similar effect as the red, but it stimulates emotional as well as physical reactions. It also creates the feeling of warmth, happiness, and protection. One more important feature is the application of the pictogram of animals that are depicted sitting next to the bottles as well as on the bottles. The name of the water Morshinka is very interesting as well because it is a derivative from the name of the water for adult. An advertisement you can see next to it, Morshinska. So it has a diminutive meaning. So we can say that the smart combination of nonverbal elements such as color, iconic elements, as well as the layout, as well as the verbal elements, makes this multimodal advertisement very powerful and appealing at the same time. It also is an example of a national, commercial, printed, and medium segmented advertisement. If we look at the next picture, next advertisement for the mineral water Morshinska for adults, we can see a very interesting correlation of verbal and non-verbal elements when the text message duplicates the actual message. The natural inside, perfect outside. So a picture of green, fresh and pure mountain seems to fall into the bottle as the picture is created in the shape of water, and the image of a bottle design is believed to be perfect. So green color in combination with white creates the feeling of pureness again, cleanness and freshness. On the basis of Bezlatny classification, the advertisement is national, commercial, printed, and slightly segmented. If we look at the next two examples, we have an example of mineral water Borjomi, which is quite well known, the name of which is repeated twice. So the verbal message, live with the power of a volcano, encourages consumers to be healthy and strong by having a healthy lifestyle, driving a bike, being active, and drinking pure water. So the meaning of the verbal message is intensified by the images of the mountains, the grass, the young woman on the bike whose body language tells us about her physical freedom and her physical power as well. The next advertisement is of mineral water Karpatska Dżerelna, in which a very strong and relatively young man is depicted in front of a beautiful mountain range, showing his thumbs up. The perfect figure of the depicted man proves the positives of the advertised mineral water. The verbal message, 32 centimeters of youth, 32 сантиметри молодости, минеральна вода Карпат, they're all written in blue and again create the feeling of pureness and cleanness. The textual message, 32 centimeters of youth, indicates that a 32 centimeter bottle will make you healthy and look like this man. So if we look at the advertisements in Poland, I found a couple of examples, and the first one is the water for children, which is produced by the brand Kubush. Its symbol is a pictogram of a smiling teddy bear. Unlike the Ukrainian advertisement of the water for kid, this ad does not have many different colors, but the preference is given to blue of the background. The bottle of water is on the left, but its size shows that it doesn't really play the main role in the advertisement, as the main attention is paid to the bear. He's showing a signed thumbs up, strengthening the fact that the water is good for kids. There is also a big red cross circle, which is borrowed from the road sign system, meaning that something is forbidden. The usage of this pictogram and the red color that catches the attention, as well as the verbal component that indicates that no preservatives are used, без консервантов. This ad is simple, yet kids-friendly, transmits the message with the help of non-verbal means, the body language, thumbs up again, pictogram of a cross sign, as well as a verbal message, which complement each other, and they build a complex communicative unit. The second advertisement promotes the mineral water Rodovita. Here we can see the usage of green and blue again, especially on the stripes that hold the messages, the textual messages. The blue color indicates the purity. even the verbal message is written in white letters. And white normally means cleanness and space. Натуральна вода мінеральна. The green color demonstrates closeness to nature. Первотня дика, if I'm not mistaken, means originally wild. Under this message, there is an ideogram that means the percentage sign and number 25. Again, all of these nonverbal means catch the attention of the target audience straight away, and then the verbal component duplicates and adds the extra information that the bottles come from recycling. The next two examples, obviously, of two are the mineral waters. An interesting peculiarity of these two examples is that they depict the actual fact of drinking or consuming the water, which we didn't see in the Ukrainian examples. In the first advertisement, the verbal message, натуральна як ти, is written in blue letters with the help of unusual font. The picture of the natural mountains and a pretty girl who is said to be natural, they intensify the meaning of the verbal message that is given here. The second advertisement is done on the white background, which is rather unusual. The only colorful parts are letters of the verbal message and the visual component. The message is written in different, again, colors and fonts, and the layout of those letters and the text is a bit chaotic. The meaning that is conveyed is obviously, it states that the portal building a community around an exceptional product saturated with events focused on the exchange between active people. So if we briefly look at the examples of water in Germany, for example, we see a completely different approach that they use. The color scheme is white and blue. Different shades of blue are used here. Even the text is written with either blue or white letters. That creates the feeling, again, purity and freshness. Similar effect is created by the message. Bringt Lebens in Leben, brings life into life. The visual component depicts a lady who is coming into life from water. A big message underneath expresses all the benefits that the water has, but most of it is conveyed with a pictogram of a water drop that demonstrates the formula, HCO2, which is a type of a salt, plus we can see plus minus ideograms that stand for a balance. In the second advertisement, we can see a naked lady sitting in the pure environment. The verbal message, das Wasser für ihre Schönheit, water for your beauty, as well as denken Sie an sich, think about yourself, strengthen the need for natural products and the care that women need to take of their bodies. We can see that the messages are divided and they are located in different sections of the advertisements, and they are written in different font as well. The next two, the first one is a Rosbacher mineral water, has a picture of Michael Schumacher with the quote, bring my minerals back in play, and the slogan 2 to 1 for your body. The usage of numerals demonstrates the advantage that the body will get and that it will lead in the game of life. The same symbol can be noticed on the red circle near the bottle. Again, the usage of the red color attracts the attention, and we can see the score that actually attracts our attention straight away. The last German advertisement is the advertisement of Adelhofzener. So here the advertisement is done in white and blue color scheme, and a short verbal message, the pure power of Alps, we can see there. The image serves as an addition to the actual verbal component. The freshness of the water is intensified by a picture of an open bottle with the sunlight coming through it. You can also see the Alps that are pure and white, which means space and cleanness again. An interesting fact is the German ads are mainly white, unlike the previous ones where the prevail. And the last set of advertisements are a couple of advertisements from the United Kingdom. So what we notice straight away is the colorful and bright samples. The highlight spring is depicted in the background of the mountains and the clear sky. The numbers and the ideogram are used to tell about the recycling of the bottle. We can see the pictogram of a heart, which substitutes the actual whole word love. The next advertisement for the Buxton water conveys a similar message, but here we can see the green color scheme. So green meaning the concerns for the environment, connection with the environment. The rays next to the bottle are also done in different shades of green as well to strengthen the same information that is actually written in textual message as well, in the verbal component. And briefly, just the last advertisement, the same water called Highland Spring. Lots of things going on in this advertisement, but the one that I want to concentrate on is that the picture is dominated by the water bubbles, which describe the purity of water as well as its lifting power. The pictogram also strengthens the meaning of the verbal message, which is also says uplifting refreshment, as well as the words remember bubble. So it contains the word bubble. This is spelled as well in an unusual way, and it can be viewed as an example of so-called language graphic game. To conclude, we can say that verbal and non-verbal elements are used in all types of multimodal advertising. The non-verbal means correlating with the verbal elements. They either intensify or repeat and complete the meaning of the verbal messages. The variations of fonts, we can talk about the cursive, underlined, maybe bold, sizes of the letters, their capitalization and coloring help to make the text bright and memorable. In the analyzed examples from Ukraine, the majority of copywriters, they use the images of mountains and water to demonstrate that their product is fresh, clean, and natural. The chosen color scheme included blue, green, and white colors, as it is required by the theme of the advertisement. If we talk about the Polish multimodal advertisements, together with other non-verbal means, pictures of people are frequently used. They were actually more frequently used than in Ukrainian ones. In German advertisements, we can see the pictures of ordinary people as well as celebrities are being used now, are also applied in order to demonstrate the positive effects that the water has on human bodies. Lighter colors are used, such as white and blue, to help and convey the meaning of freshness. So we can see that these advertisements are a little bit less colorful, less invasive even. As to the British advertisements, we can notice the usage of bright, colorful pictures and a lot of different ideograms that even substitute the whole words. All of the chosen advertisements, they depict the closeness to nature, the life balance, calmness, and purity. So as they were created to promote a very popular and essential product, obviously mineral water, they're national, they're direct, they're lightly or medium segmented and commercial. So the cultural differences can be noticed even in such small section of mass media discourse as advertisements of mineral water, which at first we don't really think that it is that important. That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Julia. That was really amazing. So if you were to choose which color to use in your own advertisement of mineral water, which one would it be? Green, white, or blue?
I think that if we talk about German advertisements, I think that they promote the picture the best at the moment, but I really like the British approach of really colorful messages that attract attention straight away. So probably something really colorful, like children advertisements.
Yes, multiple colors, they are good for catching attention, and obviously kids definitely love it. And what I've noticed a lot of similarities in the advertisements, even though you tried to emphasize on the differences, but there are obviously a lot of similarities. So water is water, water is life, yes?
Yes, well, that's why I wanted to see whether there were any differences, considering that it is a product that is so simple and that everyone would probably advertise in the same way. But it was interesting to see that in Ukraine, normally, if we see mineral water, it is used with the Carpathian Mountains, whereas, and it's green. Whereas if we talk about Germany, they would use the Alps, but they wouldn't be green, they would be white. So it's just really interesting to see even this slight, not very important message, right? So because the verbal elements, they're quite similar. They all strengthen the benefits that you can get from it. But the actual non-verbal elements, especially the color scheme, is different. I think, as I said, the German one's completely different because they're more neutral. It's more blue and white, whereas in Ukraine, again, and even in Poland, we can see the mountains that are green, not in snow.
I see. Okay, thank you. More questions, please, ladies and gentlemen.
You've mentioned that, well, it's a popular product and we drink mineral water daily. I wonder, have you, it's not maybe about the countries that you and cultures you have spoken about, but have you come across the information about some countries where maybe mineral water is not that popular as in Europe, or maybe it's not yet a tradition of everyday life? And have you seen any examples of aggressive mineral water advertisement campaigns or something like that? Because we buy mineral water despite the fact, the way it's advertised. We don't pay too much attention. And I wonder, have you come across this aggressive advertisement to enter the local market, maybe somewhere in Asia or whatever?
I haven't, to be honest with you, I have not looked at the markets where it's not really used. I looked specifically for the European market purely because of the, I guess, topic of our conference, that it mostly concentrates on the European market. And we're lucky here because currently the healthy lifestyle and drinking more water, it's actually being extremely promoted. So that's why I concentrated just on examples in this market. But it is an interesting idea. I need to probably look into that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. For example, if I want to show off, I buy a bottle of that expensive French water. What's the name of it? Favian, yes, or something like this. And I'm walking along the street with a bottle of this expensive water for nothing, especially when I'm abroad, just to show off.
I had an interesting experience in Yulia, you can consider that, by the way. It's very non-verbal and reactive. Recently, Morshinska has launched a new product. It's a mineral water, but with some flavors of pine, lemon, mint, something like that. But the fact is they put this water in beer-like bottles. It's not bottles, cans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I used to buy this water and take it to the university. And people do not always understand you. British mineral water with you, they do think, I don't know why, they have just seen me drunk, but why do you think I'm going to the university with beer? But you can test it. It's a field experiment. And the way people react to the new image of the canned mineral water.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is interesting.
Okay. Any more questions?
Well, it's not a question, I just have a remark. In Poland, quite often, the names of mineral water are like Cisowianka, Nałęczowianka, Muszynianka. It somehow suggests a young unmarried woman, with suffix anka, right? So it's maybe also connected with advertising it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Anka.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. I actually, I haven't noticed that. I have actually paid attention to it, but I haven't really registered it in my head. So thank you for pointing it out as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we are proceeding with our schedule, and the next, well, I suggest we have the next reporter according to the alphabetical order. The next reporter is supposed to be Zorana Gnati, our department assistant, our student at the same time. But in the end, I would like to make some closing remarks about our project in general. So Zorana's remarks will be more logical in the end of our session. What do you think?
Irina Pavlovna, it seems to me you are sharing a screen because we have this double sound.
Am I sharing my screen?
Yes, I
Probably.
see Irina is recording the call.
I'm making the recording, but looks like I'm not sharing my screen.
But I see myself doubled.
So maybe it's Julia's screen.
Somebody, because we have this echoing sound.
Yes, I logged out and logged in because of the echo, but it's still here.
Let me do the same. So I suggest that we change the succession of the reports a little bit, and I will log out.
No,
and
it's
log
okay.
in. Sorry for the delay.
Now the sound was,
Is it okay now?
yes. But the screen is weird. I can send you print screen. It's
What's wrong with
Screen
this?
is blank.
maybe it's